The enemy defenses are weak here. They must think this is a worthless area.
Well, I've totally forgotten my line.
Do you want to snuggle after work?
Let's say it's the early 1990s. You want to get into those sweet strategy games that have been releasing around the time, like Fire Emblem, Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Farland Story, Langrisser, and much more. However, you have two problems. The first, you have a PC Engine, or a TurboGrafx 16 as the West calls it. And the second, you live in America. So what do you do? Well, if you have both of those, you basically only have one option. A little game called Vasteel, released in 1990 by Human Entertainment and localized by Working Designs in 1993. Human Entertainment, known for their fighting games in the cult classic Super Nintendo survival horror game Clock Tower, and Working Designs, known for their cult classic titles that they brought over into English that never would have anyway, such as Lunar, Exiled, and Arc the Lad. High-quality localizations for their time, brutal difficulty changes, and very funny voice acting.
Listen to me now and fear me pretty soon. I am no kindergarten cop. The sissy man Fernancio could not teach you a lesson, so I have come to terminate you.
Sadly, Vasteel is one of the lesser known and least cared about entries in both of the company's libraries. But why is that? It's probably because the PC Engine was simply too anime for this game to have succeeded in the first place. Or maybe it was because of the game being localized in the absolute last year of the system's North American lifespan, but whatever. The art in Vasteel is very gritty and realistic looking, for a PC Engine title at least, unlike the more popular titles of the system. The music is jazzy and lets you relax and strategize, and the music has different variations if you choose the PSG option in the menus, which is a good idea if you want to have faster load times or you don't want the music to restart every time you open a menu. Actually, forget those two reasons. The localization timing in the West is just bizarre, because it runs on the original CD-ROM format. Also, by the way, apparently that's how you pronounce it, but that's stupid, so I'm not going to call it that. On the PC Engine, which do 64 kilobytes of buffer RAM, which had already been thrown out of the window for years by everyone in favor of the far superior 256 kilobyte buffer RAM replacement. Now, the gameplay is not too out there and different. First, it's your standard strategy game, but with mechs because Japan loves their mechs. Instead of square tiles in most of the popular strategy RPGs from the time and even today, the game is hexagonal based, like strategy games like Civilization. You have to buy your equipment and go up against your opponent. When you confront an enemy mech or an enemy base, the game turns into a one-on-one fighter, or dodge everything and find the area to destroy to take over the bases. Oh yeah, the game has a co-op mode where you and a friend can go up against each other in any of the game's maps right from the get-go. Or you can play the co-op mode against a computer, which kinda doesn't make sense, or you can watch the two computers fight against each other. No need to play through the entire single-player campaign to unlock any of the maps. Sadly, it's only 2 players, so you can't have the absolute insanity of 5-player co-op like in Dungeon Explorer. The campaign mode is nice, allowing you to play either side of the war effort. One very glaring complaint is that the enemy turns can be extremely long due to the combat sections not being skippable. But even in enemy turns, you still have to be alert because of the combat sections. The story isn't anything to write home about like any other early strategy RPG. Basically, Dad dead and his kids go out and rip each other to shreds, along with the entire Vasteel solar system, to take it back for themselves. But the cool thing is that the cutscenes are full of voice acting, which sets it apart from many other strategy RPGs from the time.
But, Majesty, this is not your fault. Master Stefan is not acting totally alone. He is being prodded into this action by Buster, who has his own sinister agenda.
Philip, you don't understand. Stefan was always in my shadow. He felt Father never respected him. I helped push him away by never listening to his point of view on anything. But I always did what I thought was best. Since Stefan felt he would remain number 2 all his life, he took this opportunity to assert himself.
Personally, I recommend this game. If you're a Super Robot Wars fan, go try this one out. the music is great, and even if it's a mediocre strategy RPG when you get down to the flesh and bones of the actual substance of the game, I had a fun time. But there's more. 4 years after Vasteel came out, a sequel was made for the same system, but instead of running on the original CD-ROM 2 card, this game used the Super CD-ROM 2, the version that included 256 kilobytes of buffer RAM. And it had support for the arcade CD-ROM 2 card, which included 2 megabytes of buffer RAM. Using the arcade card on this game is very useful because it allows for more animations in the cutscenes, graphical enhancements, and much less load times. Sadly, there was no English version because the PC Engine was already on death's door in the West at the time. Any attempt at a localization would have been a waste. But is Vasteel 2 even that good as the original? No, simply no. In the most basic terms from what I could get from my playtime with it, this one sticks a lot more to the norms of the strategy RPG genre. You don't buy troops, the game gives you them at the beginning of the level. The music is not jazzy, there's only 9 music tracks in the game, a far cry from the original's 30 CD tracks, though the music is still decent in its own way. It's more like basically any big PC Engine title you could think of. The gameplay is still hexagonal based, but there are no combat sections where you have to beat the shit out of each other, just normal SRPG animation scenes. Also, there are anime cutscenes, and the gameplay is highly exploitable by using save states to get the best outcome from the battles. The joys of emulation, am I right? However, the game has an amazing addition, which is the option of using a mouse. Yes, the PC Engine had a mouse option for some games. This is amazing because using a controller can be a slog in this game and in the original. As for the story, I have no idea what's going on because I don't understand Japanese. But damn, this is very anime. Though, nothing really wrong with that. But hey, at least the music is good. Overall, it's a much less engaging game compared to the original. Both games have gotten mixed reviews over the years, and the demand for a sequel or a remake or any sort of fan translation of Vasteel 2 is basically nothing. But if you want to play an old strategy game with mecha combat, Vasteel is a good option.
Come on. Please finish me. Hurry.
Forgive me, my brother. I'll see you in hell. Vasteel, it appears I shall see you sooner than I thought. Ah!